You're listening to The World at 8 with Lynn Mozar. The World at 8, the number one in nationalist news.
Highlights of the news today, Friday, the 3rd of February. A Labour Party councillor has pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a schoolgirl. An immigrant named as Linh Hoang has been given a mandatory short sentence for growing cannabis. Scottish Labour councillor Irfan Rabbani has defected to the SNP. Nick Griffin writes this week from the belly of the beast in Brussels on the up to now unreported killings in South Africa. Nato is looking at withdrawing all its forces from Afghanistan by mid-2013. 230 people have been rescued from a sunken ferry boat which turned over in waters near Papua New Guinea. UK news. A Labour Party councillor has pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a schoolgirl during a celebration after he won his re-election. Labour councillor Mark Burton, who is a father of 3, also admitted downloading indecent images of children being abused by paedophiles. Mr Burton from Darlington was due to stand trial in Teesside but has pleaded guilty, so he will be sentenced in 3 weeks' time. A 35-year-old immigrant named as Linh Hoang has been sentenced to a pathetic 12 months in prison for turning a Somerset home into a cannabis factory. On Mr Hoang's release, he will be immediately deported. The Crown Court in Taunton were told that over 320 cannabis plants were discovered by police officers. Good local residents were keeping tabs on the illegal immigrant, who came all the way from the Far East in the back of a lorry, apparently simply to commit crime and make money in Britain. Scottish Labour councillor Irfan Rabbani has defected to the SNP. He left the Labour Party, saying that he wanted to join the SNP because he feels that Scotland will be better off independent from the rest of Britain. One nationalist has stated, "Irfan Rabbani is not indigenous to Britain and doesn't care if the union is split. It just shows how Marxism is just as comfortable in the SNP as it is in the Labour Party." The Euro News with Nick Griffin. Nick Griffin writes this week to tell us about an unusual visitor with him in the belly of the beast in Brussels. He starts with the question, when do the left liberals who dominate the EU not give a damn about human rights? The answer, says Mr Griffin, is when the people being deprived of their human rights, the people being deprived of their very lives, are hard-working, productive members of a civilised, Christian and European descent. When, to use the term favoured by race-obsessed BBC, they are white. During the latest parliamentary session, there was a conference entitled Stop the Murder of Farmers in South Africa. Organised by Flemish MEP Philip Claes, the keynote speaker was Henk von Kraaf, who is Vice President of the Transvaal Farmers Union. Mr von Kraaf is also a leading figure in the growing campaign to draw attention to and halt the hidden wave of racist genocide being perpetrated against the Dutch-speaking white tribe of South Africa, the Boers. The archetypal Boer is a farmer. In fact, that is exactly what the word means. Often living on isolated family farms, they are vulnerable to attacks by savage gangs, often guided by or even including some of their own farm workers. Since the introduction of black majority rule in 1994, somewhere between 1,550 and 3,000 farmers and their family members have been murdered in farm killings. The majority of the victims are hideously tortured to death, with women and even babies being raped as they are killed. Mr van der Graaf explained how the murders are incited by senior figures within organisations such as the African National Congress and ignored by the government and the corrupt and collapsing South African police force. Most horrifying of all, he puts the farm killings in the context of the broader murder of an estimated total of 20,000 white South Africans over just 20 years. The scale of the problem, combined with the systematic and deliberate dehumanisation of and incitement of hatred against the victim community means the only word that can accurately sum up what is going on in South Africa is genocide. But the Boers are increasingly refusing to suffer in silence. Having outlined their terrible sufferings, Henk van der Graaf went on to explain their growing resistance. First, despite the banning of the old commando system that used to help preserve law and order in country areas, the farmers are developing mutual support networks. Everywhere such teams are built, farm murders decrease and security increases. Second, the Boer community, recognising the complete failure of South Africa's so-called Rainbow Nation multicultural society, have now elected their own Volksstraat, People's Council. The Volksstraat is now working to secure international recognition for the Boers' right to self-determination and an eventual homeland of their own. Third, tentative steps are being taken towards organising short producer strikes, during which farmers would simply refuse to deliver products such as milk to the cities. With the tiny Boer farming community producing the overwhelming majority of the country's food supplies, coordinated strikes would have a devastating effect, and make the new rulers aware that they too cannot survive if they continue to refuse to restore the protection and justice to which the Boers, like all peoples, are entitled. Fourth, Mr van der Graaf has already laid genocide charges against members of the South African government at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Fifth, as shown by this visit, there is a new determination amongst Boer spokesmen to take effective steps to break through the international media blackout and bring awareness of the plight of their people to the attention of a far wider audience. So while the problem is truly shocking, the efforts to provide solutions, Mr Griffin concludes, are heartening. I promised him that we in the British National Party would at least do our bit to help raise awareness of the issue. South Africans, after all, were foremost amongst the peoples of the old British dominions who rallied to stand shoulder to shoulder with us in both the First and the Second World Wars. So we ask all our listeners to be sure to watch Mr Griffin's Parliament TV interview with Henk van der Graaf on our main website, and to send the story and the web links provided onto as many people as possible. The first step towards securing justice and equal treatment for the Boers is to help tell as many people as possible exactly what is going on. We've made a start this evening, so thank you for listening and then doing something to help. World News. NATO is looking at withdrawing all its forces from Afghanistan by mid-2013, the spokesperson has said. Afghanistan's new forces will take control of the country after that date. Some sources have said that when the NATO forces leave Afghanistan, that's when the real attacks by the militants will begin, and the country will revert to the state it was before the Russians invaded all those years ago. 230 people have been rescued from a sunken ferry boat which turned over in waters near Papua New Guinea. Rescue boats from the Rabbani Queen were sent to pick the survivors up, of some of whom were sitting on the upturned boat. Israel is reporting that they may not be ruling out strikes on Iran's nuclear installation sites. Israeli Vice President has warned that underground bunkers won't be sufficient enough to stop the attack. The Filipino Special Operations Force have killed 3 Al-Qaeda members in a dawn raid in the south of the country. The 3 men were on the Philippines' most wanted terrorist list, and a government source says that they are pleased with the outcome. And finally, a woman who was so fed up with dog fouling where she lives has decided to take action. Carly Howard from Buntingford has set up a Facebook page called Tag a Turd. The Facebook page is to name and shame dog owners in her town. Carly, aged 30, has said that her Facebook page has about 80 members who are fed up with dog fouling by irresponsible dog owners. She is a dog owner herself who expressed the fact that she always clears her dog mess up, yet others leave it on the pavement. Carly's efforts have made the council take action. You have been listening to The World at 8. I am Lynn Mozart, and I wish you all a safe and happy weekend from myself and the team at Radio Britain.